Hello, I'm Trey Zipperer with By Memorial Day. I'm traveling across the country to raise awareness about what's happening to our veteran headstones all across our country. I'm from Florida, where we have a real problem with black algae and other biological growth growing on our veteran headstones. Other states I've found all the way across Texas have the same problem. But when I get to New Mexico, I find that in the cemeteries, the veteran headstones look beautiful. There's no biological growth because we're obviously in a different climate. So this particular climate, this dry environment, doesn't allow the growth of the biological organisms to be on these stones. But we have still some other issues that we can address in these cemeteries. For example, if you look in front of me here, we have a very nice grave area surrounded by concrete. The stone is perfectly plumb and level, but we see these plants here growing, and maybe this is a good thing in New Mexico. I don't know. Maybe I don't know New Mexico, but I would think that maybe we could trim these up or remove these because it's just not a kempt environment for an American hero. I say an American hero because despite not having a flag at his grave and not having his grave tended to, even though he has a beautiful clean stone, it's not all just about the stone. This young man's name is Dennis Orlando Sisneros. He's from New Mexico. He's a corporal, Company D, 1st Engineering Battalion, 1st Marine Division, Korea. So when you look at these stones, you have to pay attention to the dates. And the first thing I notice is 1952. That's during the Korean War. We have an 18-year-old young man who has died at 18 years old, serving in Korea, probably killed in action. Based on my initial research, that is the case. This young man made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. There is no greater hero in America than a person who gives up their life for us. And I think we can still, even though the headstone is clean in New Mexico, I think we can do a better job of attending to his grave and making sure that it's maintained in a respectful manner at all times. There is no American flag here. I'm calling for an amendment to the United States Flag Code that will allow for an American flag to be displayed at a veteran's grave 24 hours a day without the requirement of illumination. There is a requirement for illumination in the flag code for flags displayed on buildings or on flagpoles. Obviously, there's not a flagpole here, and this is not a building. But this person is owed a flag more than anyone else that lives in this country. Again, because he'll never grow old. He wasn't able to be married and have children. He'll have no descendants. We are his family. They brought his body here to this grave in a flag-draped casket. They removed the flag from the casket. They lowered him into the ground, and I think that it's the right thing to do to have a flag displayed here so that when someone comes into this cemetery, they can quickly recognize that there's an American soldier or sailor or airman or Marine buried here. And they don't all die in service, but this is a very special young man here. And we notice that the pH on this headstone signifies the Purple Heart medal. In addition to an amendment to the United States Flag Code that we can place a flag at this veteran's grave 24 hours a day without illumination, 365 days a year, I think we should also look into creating a new medal for American service personnel who die in service to our country. A Purple Heart, as far as I've ever known, my grandfather had 2 Purple Hearts from World War II, is when you're wounded in combat. I think when you die in service to your country, I think that's a little bit higher level than wounded in service to our country. So just like we have different levels of valor, we have the Bronze Star, the Silver Star, the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Medal of Honor. We really only have one that I know of when you're wounded, whether you're wounded slightly or whether you're wounded severely or you are killed. So I think that it's time that we talk about a new medal for our service members in our military. And I don't have a specific name for it yet, but it needs to be something that's respectful. We have gold stars for parents of military personnel killed in service. So I don't have a name for it yet, but they made the ultimate sacrifice. Maybe it's the U.S. medal, ultimate sacrifice medal, something like that. So this is New Mexico, beautiful landscape. I'm in Albuquerque, just north of Albuquerque, in a place called Bernalillo. I'm at a cemetery known as Our Lady of Sorrows Cemetery. This is a beautiful cemetery, and it's got a lot of diversity in the way that people honor their dead, which is very refreshing compared to a lot of cemeteries that I've been to that are sort of, you know, you have the grave sites and the headstones. But here, again, I mean, there are some amazing things going on as far as structures built over the graves, fencing. And I think a lot of it's because of the environment, the climate here, because there's not deterioration. So if you put up a really nice monument to your loved one in an environment like New Mexico, you could come back 50 years from now and it looks pretty much the same. You do that in Florida and it's not going to look the same with our daily rain, seems like. In addition to cleaning these grave sites of our veterans, even though you don't maybe need to clean the headstone, I've noticed some headstones. There's one right over there, for example, that has sunk down in the ground to the point about right here where you can't see the birth year, birthday, or the death date. So these stones need to be reset. There's another one right here that needs to be reset. So I ask you, if you live in a part of America where maybe you don't have black algae on your veteran headstones, there's some other things you can do, including, number one, let's get an amendment to the United States Flag Code allowing us to place flags 24 hours a day at these veterans' graves, and let's come up with a new medal to represent that these young people died in service to our country. And it's not just from killed in action, it's not just from combat. We have service members dying every day, even during times of peace, in training accidents, in plane crashes. All different types of things happen. They also die of disease. There's different reasons why they might die in service. So it's an ultimate sacrifice type of a medal. So if you'll please join me in taking care of our veterans' graves, go to bymemorialday.com. We have videos to teach you how to clean veteran headstones properly. We have a link to the protocol for cleaning veteran headstones that was produced and posted by the National Cemetery Administration on our site. Or go to our page on Facebook, By Memorial Day. Again, I'm Trey Zipper. We're crossing America, raising awareness about the condition of our veteran graves in America, and I believe we can do better. I think you'll agree with that. So do your part, get out there in your community, get in those cemeteries, find these veteran graves, find these veteran headstones that are in need of cleaning, or the grave site needs tending to, they need an American flag. And when we come to American flags, we don't just place a flag and just leave it and walk away and let it turn into trash and fall over on the ground for somebody else to care for. I'm talking about somebody taking care of this grave going forward from now on, where you come out here every quarter, every couple months, and you check on the grave, make sure that it's in good shape and make sure that flag's in good shape. If it's ready to be replaced, buy the $1.35 flag, replace the flag, maybe $4 a year to honor a veteran with the flag at their gravesite. So appreciate you watching. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like our page on Facebook and become a part of this movement. So every year by Memorial Day, these veteran headstones and veteran graves are going to look respectable, but we really need to keep them that way all year long. Thank you for watching.